Hello everyone and welcome back to our Code Realize playthrough. We're on the fan disc called Future Blessings and we are going to be finishing up Victor's route. I can actually say that this time that we're finishing up his route because it's the third episode, so we are going to go until it is complete. In the last episode, Victor had just been offered to become a part of IDEA so he can keep an eye on Cardia for the rest of her life, pretty much. Because Omnibus is afraid when her horologium is going to resurface with toxins, and even if it's okay now, she only anticipated Victor having less than 50 years left to live, and now that's what they're thinking about now. Party obviously doesn't want him to become IDEA because if he does, he's going to have to murder whoever they tell them to, and Victor is not a murderer, so anyway, let's finish Victor. Is it really that time? I see he's pushing my broom across the floor. Reading the clock, I see that it is already early afternoon. I saw Victor after work early this morning and began to go about my chores. It was past the time I usually take a break for lunch, but hunger seems like a foreign concept to me today. Of course it does. My body never needed sustenance to survive. Hearing myself speak the word aloud, I am struck again by the simple fact that I am not human. And what Omnibus said, at some point in the distant future, the horologium embedded in my chest may stir from dormancy and generate poison again. I know that Victor will protect me as long as I am by his side, but what will happen if I revert to being a monster after he's gone? Victor has sworn oaths to me, swore that he would never let me become a monster, and promised I would never be alone again. Yet he never told me how he planned to keep those promises. Was he to become an apostle or die a human death? Which path will he ultimately choose? How could I ever be happy knowing I'd robbed you of your natural future? Poor sweet Victor, who still bitterly regrets the inadvertent deaths he caused when his research was weaponized. I know, right? Poor sweet Victor. Victor doesn't want to kill anyone. Poor sweet Victor, the most gentle soul I know. No, I can't imagine him spending eternity in service to an organization demanding he take human lives with his own hands. His suffering would be so intense no words could describe it. So what am I supposed to do? Omnibus's 3-day grace period ends tonight. There's hardly any time left to think. Cece, are you worried about me? I had taken no notice of Cece at all, but now I see he's bounding around the room holding his leash in his mouth. Honestly, Cece may have just saved me. If I remained in that endless loop of worry, I might have eventually lost myself down a blind alley of panic. Let's go for a walk, Cece. Leading Cece along, I begin to walk. No, it's the other way around, I think. Whenever I pause to fret, it is Cece who pulls me forward. The city of London remains as peaceful as ever. The sky is a breathtakingly The sky is a breathtakingly vibrant shade of deepest blue, or at least it should be. Somehow the scenery looks wan, thin, and hazy. The colors I know all too well are too muted. The sound of the city seems too distant. I feel as if I've detached from the world. The sense is not unfamiliar. I had felt it in Wales, living alone in that mansion. The sensation reminds me of nothing so much as the endless days I spent in my room, waiting for something, anything. Despite the sounds of the city seeming distant, I notice they have grown quite loud, and slowly lift my head. I find myself standing in the plaza in front of the Royal Society, hardly unusual as I typically turn here. But something is clearly amiss. There are a great number of guards posted here, and far too many gawkers. That's funny. A great number of guards is a glossary term. Did something happen?
今日は陛下が王立教会の視察にいらっしゃっているからな。
Ah, Lionheart.
奇遇だな、カルディア君。
Why the royal observation all of a sudden? Was there some sort of accident in the society?
いや、最近陛下は暇さえあれば、積極的に町へ足を運んでおられるのだ。宮殿にいてはわからぬことも多いとな。
I see. I think that will be very good for her. Giggling again at how much Victoria has changed, I turn back with CC, but I don't make it very far.
待ってくれ。
I turned back around as soon as he hailed me and stood to knightly attention.
いろいろと考えたのだが、やはりきちんと言うのが筋だろう。すっかり機会も逸してしまったが。改めて君に謝らせてほしい。その説は本当にすまなかった。
You don't need to apologize to me. If this is about calling me a monster, I've long since made my peace. I'm caught up on the word that he used for sorry. Is that the more formal one than gomenasai? Because, Shelby Snail uses it all the time. He never says gomenasai. And I'm curious why, because he's of high prestige too, as is Lionheart. And so I'm wondering if that's a more formal one. I always thought it was more casual, but now I'll have to look it up.
いや、それももちろんだが、我が輩が一番謝らねばならんのは、ジクテリウム貯蔵施設での件だ。
Now that's something you really don't need to apologize for. At the time, our opposing sides believed in very different things, and we tried to stick to them with predictable results.
それは謝罪をしない理由にはならんよ。
Okay, I was trying to remember what he did. He fought Victor down in the Zectarium, and I think he even wounded him. And that was before he finally made up his mind that he was opposed to it.
我が輩は陛下を諌めることもできず、勇敢なレディーに刃を向けてしまったのだ。
Ah, I remembered it before you told me.
だからどうしても謝罪と、そして感謝を受け取ってほしい。
Gratitude?
間違った道を歩んでしまった我が輩と陛下を止めてくれて感謝する。今この日々があるのは君たちのおかげだ。
He punctuated with a deep bow, and then a broad grin and puffed out his chest.
我が輩も陛下も二度と間違えるまい。だからどうか見ていてくれ。
Keep your eyes on this to be certain.
君たちの守ったこの国の未来、必ずや明るいものとしてみせる。
Does this include Lupin? His smile is so luminous it's almost blinding. Nothing about his demeanor suggests he has any doubts about the grand future that awaits his beloved Britain. Looking directly at someone so radiantly happy was like staring at the sun. I had to turn my eyes aside, muttering a reply. You're so strong, Lionheart. It's amazing that you can be so positive about the future without any real proof. Your confidence makes me jealous.
それは逆だぞ、カルディア君。未来が分からず疑わしい時にこそ堂々と胸を張って言うべきだ。未来は降って湧いてくるものではない。今を積み重ねた地続きの場所にあるもの。今笑っていないことには未来に笑うこともできないだろう。ん？ほほけた顔をしてどうしたのかね。我が輩が何かおかしなことでも？
Super outlandish. Not at all. I was just thinking you say the most incredible things sometimes. Ever so gently, I placed a hand against my chest. I remember the gesture well from before when poison permeated my body. It reminds me of Victor and how he strived to save my life, perhaps even at the cost of his own.
僕は何一つ諦めないよ。必ずビクトリアを止めて君も助ける。だから一緒に来て、 カルディア。
Victor's so adorable. I entrusted everything to him in that moment. My decision then is precisely why I know why all of us are alive today. And that means I have to go. Suffering alone, fretting and crying, relying on Victor to comfort me, it serves no purpose. And if Victor himself is still suffering over his decision, I want to be able to tell him what he told me so long ago. It is true then, and it is just as true now. It's far too early to give up. Thank you, Lionheart. I'm going to go find Victor. It runs away.
待ちたまえ。シュタイン博士は今陛下と重要な対談の真っ最中であって。
It's fine. His wife. I leave CC with Lionheart to help calm his nerves, and with a cheerful sound of barking receding quickly behind me, here, babysit my dog. I push through the throng and break into a full run. Funny.
ということで、蒸気機関に代替する新エネルギーについての考察と報告を終わります。
I think I remember the CG coming up because they're in the hotel room, and I fully expected it during his journey, and it didn't happen. I'm like, must be a fan disc thing.
どれもまだ実用にはコストがかかるけど、この中でも特に電気あたりは汎用性も高くて未来があると思う。
なるほどね。ありがとう、シュタイン博士。有意義な時間が過ごせたわ。あなたが王立協会に戻ってくれて心強い。これからも力を尽くしてちょうだいな。
うん、わかってる。研究してる方が気も紛れるしね。
今日は随分と覇気がないのね。まるで2年前のあなたを見ているようだわ。あの時のあなたは自らの研究の行く末について思い悩み苦しんでいたけれど、今度は何を抱えているのかしら。
それは。
だから待てと言っているだろう。まだ陛下との対談中だと。
Victor!
ああカルディア。
He knocked his glasses off. Oh, they're on top of his head, but still.
どうしたの突然。まだ階段の真っ最中で。
She just tackled him. Victor, I ignore his protest and prepare to ask my question with our faces mere inches apart, looking him right in the eye. Victor, what are you doing about idea?
ちょっと待って。何もこんな時に聞かなくても。
I know, right? No, you specifically said I didn't have to feel awkward coming to you at work, not even in front of our sovereign ruler. In any case, I can't wait another minute. I can't wait a second. We mustn't waste any more time. I take an expansive breath and resume speaking in the calmest tone I can manage. I'm going to be frank, Victor. I don't want you to become part of IDEA.
それはどうして？
The mere thought of you being forced to debase yourself, keeping your hands dirty to secure my future, I can't stand it. I do want a future together, you know. But if you have to pay for that future with coin minted from your own suffering, it's no future worth having.
そうか。でも僕の考えは逆だよ。君が泣いても苦しんでも助けを求めても僕がいない未来、そんな未来だけは絶対に避けたい。
I know, right?
だから僕はイデアの使徒になる。君の笑顔を守るために見知らぬ人を何千何万殺そうとも。
He's saying this in front of the queen. No!
なんてね。
That's not very funny. Victor seemed to be amused. He was able to cut off further protests with a joke.
もちろんそれも一つの道だった。 全く考えなかったわけじゃない。でも気がついたんだ。僕の幸せが本当に君の幸せになるのかって。
I've been fretting over the same question myself.
うん。きっと僕たちはお互いを思うあまり真っ先に自分の犠牲を考えてる。二人揃って笑える未来でないと、そんな未来に意味はないのにね。
Victor's slight sigh is almost inaudible even at this close distance.
以前僕が言ったこと覚えてるかな。過去から逃げたら意味がないって。あの時そう言った僕は今、他人に提示された未来を信じるまま起こってもいない未来から逃げようとした。逃げるだけじゃ何も変わらない。それを君が教えてくれたのにね。
Well then, now it's my turn to help you. I can't have futures other people put into our heads come to pass. If you're still making up your mind, let me help you find your answer. We won't even think about the futures that wind up with both of us miserable. It'll be a new path, a third way. I want to help you find it. Must.
それならカルディア、君に一つお願いがある。僕に命を預けてくれる？
You don't even need to.
一瞬も迷わないんだね。
Entrust him with your life. What he needs to do is make her lifespan equal to his, and that he doesn't need it. Teach you an idea, and he can still watch over her, and she'll never be alone afterwards. It's easy. My future is with you. I want to be with you alive, and I want to be with you when I'd rather not die, but I need you there if I do. That's cute. And if we don't wind up happy together, you do realize there'll be hell to pay with Lupin and the gang. So let's start thinking right now.
やっぱり君は強いね。強くて優しい。僕が大好きな君のままだ。
Nature's grin is genuine as he embraces me, then holds me tight.
世界の歴史なんて関係ない。僕は君とただ普通に生きたいと思っているだけ。
Someone's gonna clear the throat in a minute.
たったそれだけの普通の幸せを誰かに奪わせたりするもんか。
I can't bear to lose it either. If an ill fate does await us, we have to put up a fight at least. Holding each other close, we both smile and eventually let go.
イデアの言っていたことは事実なのかもしれないけど、でも決めたんだ。僕はもう二度と君を孤独になんてさせないから。
Victor, does that mean?
大丈夫だよ、カルディア。何も心配はいらないから。
Nothing to worry about. I wonder how 4 small words managed to penetrate so deeply into my heart.
お話も一段落ついた。それでいつまで二人の世界なのかしら。空気を読んで黙るのも疲れるのだけど。
Boring? What? Watching them is boring? How dare you?
そうだった。
Oh, I'm very sorry to have interrupted your meeting.
申し訳ありません、陛下。私も止めようとはしたのですが。
いいわ。おかげで楽しいものが見られたから。
Just said it was boring a second ago. Okay, boring being the invisible third wheel. Okay, so I guess it's not boring if you include her.
しかし、シュタイン博士を押し倒すとは なかなか大胆ね、お嬢ちゃん。
Firebrand.
惜しい。何言ってるんだビクトリア。
何よ、事実でしょ。それにずいぶん素敵な口説き文句じゃないの。二度と君を孤独にさせないなんて。あなたもそう思うでしょ、レオンハルト。
ええ、若者の未来ある言葉、なんと希望に満ちたものだろうか。貴殿らの幸福、我が輩も全力をもって応援しよう。
I have a feeling the vast majority of what we said flew over Lionheart's head. Victoria feigned a laugh for his benefit, then regarded us through narrowed eyes.
ところで、話の内容には冗談で聞き逃せないような言葉も入っていた気がするけど、そのあたりの説明は今からしてもらえるのかしら。
What should I do? I bursted so full of emotion that we simply talked. A chamber in the presence of the queen and perhaps a poor choice. I had inadvertently revealed the existence of Idea, an organization that self-polices history itself. I know, right? Not to mention the fact that Victor is being urged to make a terrible decision. He and I remain silent, which only seems to pique the queen's interest further.
もちろん全てを語れとは言わないけれど、私から言わせてもらえば、あなたは今後のイギリス発展に必要不可欠な人材よ、シュタイン博士。そしてお嬢ちゃん、あなたにはホロロギウムのことも含めて科学のさまざまな可能性が詰まっている。この大英帝国の女王としてあなたたち2人が助けを求めるのであれば、最大限の努力はしてみせるつもりよ。
ビクトリアにここまで言わせた以上、僕も黙秘ってわけにもいかないよね。
Are you sure, Victor? I look up at him in surprise and he gives me a firm nod. Victor then begins to speak patiently, explaining matters in detail. He lays the initial groundwork for the Queen with a summary of the last few days. Obviously, he does make several deliberate omissions throughout his recounting. Once Victoria has heard the expurgated story in its entirety, her expression hardens and she begins to ruminate on it.
世界の歴史を操る組織、イデアね。王族の書庫にも実在が疑わしいとしてその名が散見されたけれど、
つまり貴殿らはその組織に命を狙われているということだな。
まあ極端に言っちゃえばそういうことになるのかな。僕がその組織に入るか入らないかで彼女の運命が左右されるんだ。
They're after me because they claim my poison and the energy of the horologium it generates is a threat to the world. Victoria gave us both a long hard look. It reminds me of being examined by a doctor.
釈然としない部分もあるけど、まあいいでしょう。それで私たちにできることはあるかしら。
I doubted this is our problem alone. It's grateful of you to offer, and your support is reassuring, but...
自分たちで向き合わないと意味がない。そういう類のものなんだ。
そう？まあ無理強いはしないわ。気が変わったらいつでも頼ってちょうだい。
ありがとう。それとこの件が終わったら必ず報告する。言葉だけでも巻き込んだんだ。約束する。
Like this, Victor bows formally and I sketch a sort of curtsy. We made the best of the situation that could have been dreadful. As long as we report back when it's over, things should be fine. And now we have to meet whatever fate awaits us head on. It's showtime. By Victoria's special decree, Victor makes it back to the mansion from the Royal Society earlier than usual. Tonight is the night Omnibus specified that Victor give his answer. It's down to our last hours, and still we haven't concocted the perfect response. But when I asked Victor if he had one, he simply smiled and said,
大丈夫。僕を信じて。考えていることがあるんだ。賭けではあるけど。ね。
Nah. Time passes so fast I hardly believe it. Midnight. Once again, led by Saint Germain, we make our return to Tower Bridge. Like last time, there isn't a man, woman, or child to be seen. There's that odd silence again. The only sound that seems natural is the howl of the night wind.
準備はよろしいですか？
はい。準備というほどの準備はないけど、返事はもう決めてますから。
カルディアさん、あなたももう迷いはないようですね。
Yes, I've had quite enough of worrying. We went over the plan again and again until both of us knew it was ready. What Victor is going to attempt to pull off is a gamble, but if it works. Victor and I turn to look at each other again simultaneously and share a secret laugh.
それより、伯爵は大丈夫なんですか？僕たちに肩入れしすぎてるんじゃ。
大丈夫ですよ。問題があれば、とっくに消されていますし。
would have been after you. I can't tell if that's supposed to be a joke or not, but it's not funny at all.
でも、伯爵には感謝しています。いろいろと気を使ってくれて。
いいえ。私も仲間ですから。せめてこのくらいはさせてください。それで、賞賛については、聞くだけ野暮というものですかね。
それは僕にも見当がつきませんよ。0かもしれないし、100かもしれない。
Not as confident as Lupin.
でも、可能性があるのに、諦めてしまうことだけはしたくないですから。
では私は、その可能性が2人に未来をもたらしてくれるよう、祈りを捧げるとしましょう。
It must be about time. I take out my pocket watch and consult it closely. It's been almost exactly 72 hours. Bile suddenly rises from my stomach and I swallow it back down. Victor immediately takes my hand, offering comfort. Gross.
緊張してる？
I suppose so. I don't know if I'm nervous exactly, but I am afraid.
他のみんなみたいに、胸を張って、任せてって言えればいいんだけど。僕にできるのは、これが精一杯だよ。
Holding my hand, Victor gently brings it to rest against his. It meant everything will be all right. I place my other hand on top of his, enveloping it between both of mine. Our fingertips had grown cold. I feel warmth gradually return. Don't worry, the warmth of your hand is more reassuring than any words ever could be.
なら、カルディア。終わるまで、手をつないだままでいい？
Aww. Mm-hmm. Instead of responding verbally, I turn over his hands so that our palms touch, grip each other's hands firmly. I hope, I know, that he understands the meaning of this gesture, my wish that nothing should ever tear us apart. Then, all sounds of the outside world cease.
さて、来ましたね。
They come. What can be heard is the echoing metallic clink of steel and the faint creaking of wheels. It sounds much too like what I imagine the footsteps of fate itself might, which I suppose is not too far off the mark. Just as they did 3 days ago, figures begin to coalesce from within darkness blacker than the night.
逃げずに来てくれたのね。
来るも何も逃げたところで無駄なんでしょ。
ええ、その通りよ。運命からは逃れられない。
Their voices are gentle, yet seem to issue forth from depths unimaginable to us. Though they make no overt attempts at intimidation, I still feel that I would be totally overwhelmed if I dropped my guard.
あなたも覚悟は決まったのかしら。アイザックの呪われた娘。
She has a name.
今後引き起こされる最悪の心臓となり得るもの。
That's quite the title you gave her. Her words cause an immense pressure in my chest as if they were the true curse. This chill, the same coldness I felt the first time we met. A raw squeak escapes my throat, and I realized I had been unconsciously holding my breath. The woman who would name me cursed fixates her gaze on me. And yet there's no denying it. My physical body differs from a natural human's. It's just that I can't bear to think of myself as a monster. But Victor told me time and time again, I was a regular girl. Even though I may be physically different, my soul is not. Victor is no liar, and I believe him. The man I love is now glaring at Omnibus, motioning that I should stand behind him. Something has changed. Saint Germain hadn't drawn his blade, but the very air around us stings, as if teetering on the edge.
殺気が漏れているわよ、サンジェルマン。
Is Saint Germain going to attack?
ご安心を。敵対の意思はありませんし、そちらが動かぬ限りは何もしません。
Saint Germain, you make me want to cry every time you want to protect your friends. It's so admirable that you'll go against your immortal master and colleague to protect your human friends.
こちらが動かない限りね。動いたらどうなってしまうのかしら。
試してみますか？
Now he's taunting her. Disregarding the chilly verbal sparring of the pair of apostles, Omnibus wheels out directly in front of Victor.
さて、博士。答えは決まったかしら。
ああ、決まったよ。イデアの使徒に与えられる不死の体。それにはとても心惹かれるよ。
そう。賢い判断ね。愛する者のために人として生きることをやめる。誰にでもできる判断ではないわ。資質に加えてあなたのその頭脳も人として存分に生かされるでしょう。
Omnibus actually smiles at Victor.
ビクター・フランケンシュタイン、歓迎するわ。今後世界の災いを食い止めるため力を尽くしてちょうだい。
He hasn't said that he agrees yet. Calamity, disaster. The words bring deep pain every time they are spoken. I have no doubt Omnibus is referring directly to the people, things like me. And should Victor join Idea, it would mean seeking out and eliminating such threats, killing such people.
ああ、それと一つ言い忘れていたけれど、使徒になる者はたった一つだけ願いを叶えることが許されるの。だから望みを聞いておきましょう。博士、あなたの人としての最後の願いを。
After a lengthy period of silence, Victor speaks.
僕の望みは決まっているよ。イデアの総帥、オムニブス。カルディア、愛する彼女と共に生きることだ。
そう。やはりその答えになるのね。
She's like, oh, really? Why else would you be here?
いいわ。その願いは使徒になればおのずと叶うものだから。
She extends a hand towards him. Victor only looks at it, unmoving. Such a small hand, deeply lined with untold age. A hand that appears utterly powerless, yet also determines the fate of our world, and of course that fate of our lives.
この手を取りなさい。あなたの魂は体から切り離され、魔術によって不死の体に宿る。そしてあなたの望み通り彼女と永遠の時を共にできるでしょう。
He sure has taken a really long time to tell her what he's actually thinking. The temptation must be immense. Victor narrows his eyes ever so slightly. Without turning back, he tells me,
カルディア、君の命預かるよ。
Yes, I have. Do what you must, Victor. His eyes remain fixed on Omnibus's, never wavering. After a short pause, he speaks. I already knew what his answer would be. Of course I did. He had promised we would find our happiness together, hand in hand.
オムニブス、確かに僕は彼女と共に生きたいと告げた。けれどそれはあなたが言うのとは逆の意味だ。
どういうことかしら。
僕はあなたの元へは行かない。その上で彼女と生きる。
それが何を意味するのかわからないあなたではないでしょう。あなたが死した後、世界に死を振りまくつもりなの？
いや、そんなつもりはないよ。
Victor staunchly shakes his head no as Omnibus gives him a probing, questioning look.
彼女の持つ胸の宝石が再び毒素を生み、災いを招く可能性については十分理解できた。その宝石で生きている彼女の体が人間と同じでないことも、寿命を測ることができないことも、今みたいに幸せに過ごせるのは僕の命が果てるまでだってことも、ずっと頭のどこかで理解してた。
Victor's back is trembling. I realize it's taking all that he has to face this reality, one that he willfully rejected.
だとしても僕はイデアには入らない。
I release a sigh of relief to hear him state it with such total determination.
理解しがたいわね。理由を聞いてもいいかしら。
彼女が言ってくれたんだ。僕が人の命を奪うことを望まないと。
人の命を奪うことを悪だと思っているようだけれど、世界のため、他の命を守るため、奪ってしかるべき命というものもあるのよ。
分かってるさ。小さな犠牲がその何倍もの命を救うことがあるっていうことは。
Oh.
そのことを否定するほど子供でもないし、そこまで理想ばかりを見てるわけじゃない。
Omnibus's eyes widen at this. Perhaps it was an answer she did not expect.
悪とか正義じゃないんだ。ただ単純に僕がそれを許せないだけ。僕が人であることをやめて彼女と共に長い時を生きる。あるいは彼女の存在を抹消することがこの世界にとっては正しいのかもしれない。
I could tell Victor is forcing the words out, and all I can do is press tightly against my chest, feeling the gym there.
けどそれじゃダメなんだ。それを選んでしまったら僕たちは楽な方へ逃げただけ。それは僕たちにとっての正しさじゃないんだ。
Omnibus says nothing. She does not even move a finger. She simply sits, a mute representation of the immobility of fate.
オムニブス、あなたの提案は確かに僕にとって禁断の果実だった。
That's such an odd way to phrase it, but okay.
けれど僕たちが望んだ未来の形は二人の望みが叶うのはきっと別の形なんだ。
ではどうするつもりかしら。言ってあったはずよ。世界の災いとなる可能性があるならば私たちは容赦などしないと。
僕は人間のままでいる。けれど彼女を怪物に戻させやしないし、あなたたちからも絶対に守る。
He sure is exaggerating on this a bit, isn't he?
子供のわがままね。
Uh-oh.
次に動けば
Uh-oh.
殺しますよ、ギネビア。
You best stay there.
オムニブス、イデアの総帥であるあなたに僕から一つ提案があるんだ。
And so, Victor's gamble. Oh my goodness. It took us like 20 minutes to get here. The first, last, and only proposal that connects us to the future we wish for.
あなたは僕をアイザックを超える可能性すらあると評価してくれた。それはつまりアイザックにすらできなかったこと。彼女の胸にあるホロロギウムを完全に解き明かす可能性もある。そういうことじゃないのか。
ええ、そうね。否定はしないわ。ただそれもいずれはの可能性だけど。
事実、現段階で僕はホロロギウムの毒素生成を完全な無害にまで抑制してみせた。ホロロギウムとの接触から今日まで約1年だ。たった1年で毒を無毒化、抑制まで成し遂げてみせた。だから時間を与えてほしい。期間は僕が死ぬまで。
A long silence follows. What might be running through Omnibus's mind, confronted with Victor's proposal? Does she see the future that we wish for might actually be possible? Or does she only see a future full of despair?
それまで私たちイデアにリスクをはらんだままじっと待てということかしら。仮にそれを私たちが許したとして苦しむのは間違いなくその子なのよ。最愛の人と過ごす時間が暖かければ暖かいほど別離の時は苦しく辛くなる。極端な話、あなたを失ったその瞬間、精神の均衡を崩したその子が一気に有毒化に傾く可能性もあるわ。
But he hasn't said what you're going to give him time to do yet. That won't happen. I had remained silent all this time, and now I take a step forward. Then, following Victor's train of thought and speech, it is time to declare my own. The very first item of Victor's research won't be a method to completely ridding me of the poison. Rather, it will be a way of ensuring that the time allotted me, a creation of man, be the same as man.
まさかあなたは自ら寿命を縮めようというの？
Why does she react like that? I'm sure Saint Germain is tired of living by now. Aren't you too? Yes. After much discussion, this is the conclusion Victor and I arrived at. Not that we should have to discard his own humanity in order to match my own lack of it, but that I should be changed into a complete human being. If his research proves fruitful, I will have long since departed this world before the Horologium ever could reactivate. If you still cannot trust us, I invite you to come and kill me the moment Victor passes away.
不確定要素だらけの話ね。
I don't see how this is any different than letting him live for an eternity. Keep an eye on her. It, if anything, it gets rid of centuries of worry for you guys, right?
不確定なのは100も承知だよ。僕が提示できるのはホロロギウムの活動を抑え込んだ僕の技術とその事実だけだ。だからこそ提案するんだ。時間が欲しい。その間に僕は僕の可能性を試す。彼女を人間として人の間で生きられるようにする。二度と孤独にも怪物にもさせない。僕たち二人で生きて幸せをつかんで悔いのない最後を迎えるために。
But powerful words. Powerful enough, perhaps, to tear open a new path towards happiness together, away from that which fate has offered us.
博士、残念だけど、私には未来が見える。そしてその未来が大きく外れたことはないの。あなたの提案では世界の平穏が確約されるわけではない。ならば私たちは退くことはできない。
Silence falls. All of us seem powerless against it, heavy as it is, heavier than even the dark that surrounds us. It is eventually broken by the sound fainter even than the night breeze, Omnibus's sigh.
残念よ、博士。イデアはその子を最悪とみなし、排除の対象とするわ。
Uh-oh.
交渉決裂ですか。
Yep. Negotiations have failed.
どきなさい、サン。自分の立場を忘れたの？
言われずとも私はイデアの使徒です。しかし同時に彼らの仲間でもあるのですよ。
And that is more powerful than his connection to you.
さん、それに博士も。あなたたちを失うのは大きな損失。まだ遅くないわ。考え直してはもらえないかしら。
Can't you think it over? You're the one that's going to lose them, right?
彼女を失う世界なら残念だけどお断りだよ。
ではアイザックの呪われた娘、あなたはどうかしら。今あなたが消えるということは、あなたが将来奪うはずの命は消えずに済むということ。あなたはその事実をどう思うの？
I shiver. If such a thing as fate may take tangible form, it would be undoubtedly be this woman sitting here before me. Victor's hand we had never let go grips mine firmly. I grip back. Everything will be all right. It was by this hand, by this warmth, that my life was saved, that I came to know love. I won't give up. No, I won't give in. I haven't reached the end. I want to live. Right here with Victor, I want to live.
そう。残念ね。
No sooner has she spoken these words. Uh-oh. The hooded figures appear from the darkness one by one surrounding us. Instantly they drop into fighting stance. Saint Germain's eyes narrow.
1人2人合計8人ですか。イデアの使徒がここまで揃うのはここ数百年記憶にない事態ですね。
それだけあなたたちを警戒しているということよ。降伏しなさい、サンジェルマン。
Saint Germain, you're so dangerous that we need all of them to defeat you.
いくらあなたでもこれだけの使徒とやり合って勝てるとは思っていないでしょ。
It's funny that she prepared for this.
ええ、そうですね。ですが、
Get him.
勝てなくても負ける気はありませんよ。
Get him.
すみません伯爵。
今さら言いっこなしですよ。とはいえ厳しい状況ですがね。
I like how he's preparing to die and he's just like, you know, this really isn't the best odds. Just so casually. I'll cover you. I may not be able to use poison anymore, but I remember how to fight. You're fighting an apostle. It's a completely different level. With that, we begin to move. The numerical odds may be bad enough, but our opponents are also apparently immortal. Struggle as we may, there is probably no chance of victory here. Even so, I won't give up, ever.
よく言った。
I knew it.
銃撃どこから
I was like, how did they get out of this? I don't know. Maybe everyone else shows up. The report of guns piercing the night, echoing across the bridge. I'm sure I've heard them before. Another of the apostles is knocked off the feet right in front of me, standing there.
ヒーローは遅れてやってくるってね。
I know, right?
不死身というならば実弾で吹き飛ばした方が良かったか。
Yep.
問題なかろう。どっちにしても世の拳を全力で振るってやるわ。
どうして君たちが
Saving the best for last, obviously. There we go.
どうして？そいつはこっちのセリフだぜ。俺たちが留守の間に随分とでかいトラブルを引っ張り込んだみたいじゃねえか。
Lupin, all of you?
皆さんギリギリまで我慢してくれましたね。
It sounds like Saint Germain's responsible.
まさか伯爵がみんなを
Saint Germain. He's the best friend ever.
ええ、事前に連絡を取りこの空間へと招き入れました。もし万が一のことがあれば仲間のために力を貸してくれないかと。皆二つ返事で駆けつけるものですからこちらとしては嬉しい限りでしたがね。
荒ごとにならなきゃ出番はなし、こっそり解散って思ったが、やっぱそうもいかねえよな。
Even Deli has come to fight, which is just amazing. Our friend shield us, placing Victor and I in the center as they move in to confront the apostles of Idea.
再会の法要をって行きたかったけど、どうにもそんな雰囲気じゃないね。
これだけの戦力差とは初めから私に声をかけるべきだったな、フラ。
まったく久々に揃った機会がこれとは。なんとも我々らしい再会だな。
Like us. I couldn't agree more. No matter how untenable the situation, our friends are right there behind us. Somehow they even managed to lighten the mood. It really does feel like we can overcome anything together. I wonder how that can be. Our opponents are immortal. We may have never faced tougher odds. And yet their presence here makes me believe we can get through this.
これはどういうつもりかしら、さん。
別にイデアを裏切る意思はありませんよ。私は変わらず世界を正しき道へ導くことこそが救済と考えます。
それなら。
その上で言わせてもらいましょう。私は彼らをここで生かすことこそが正しき流れだと信じています。彼らはそのような災いにはなり得ない。世界や人の滅びへはつながらない。私はそう信じたいのです。オムニブス。
私の予言とは異なる道を歩みたい。あなたもそのお仲間も皆同じ意見ということかしら。
Lupin? Just grabs her.
あいにくと俺はしがない泥棒でね。世界の正しい歴史だなんだと言われたって全然実感が湧きやしね。そんな手も届かない代物より今目の前にある宝石の方が俺にとっちゃ重要なんでね。
After he raucously, I don't know how to say that, Lupin clasped Victor and I by the shoulders.
要するに突然出てきたポットでの人たちより仲間を信じてるってだけの話じゃん。
There you go. Well put, Empty.
俺たちはこの二人が幸せをつかむために頑張ってたのをよく知ってんだからさ。
それにイデア、お前たちの言う正しさのためには屍があって当然という考え方が気に入らん。屍を積み上げた場所に生まれるものなどたとえ正しくともろくなものであるはずがない。
そういうことだ。我らは皆最後までフランたちを信じ抜いてみせる。
つうことでよ、使徒だか神様だか知らねえが文句があんならかかってきな。このルパン一味を敵に回す覚悟があるならな。
Displeased. All of them so reassuring and so true. These are the people who make me human. Victor and I stand tall next to them, staring down the fate that awaits us.
僕たちは二人でその最後の瞬間まで決して互いを離したりしない。それがどんなに険しい道だろうと僕たちはその道をずっと歩み続ける。
Just believe that your predictions could be wrong, just like in Saint Germain's route.
僕の命が尽き果てるまでその全てを彼女にかけて全力で生きてみせる。あなたたちが認めてくれた僕の頭脳も技術もその全てで彼女を僕が守り抜いてみせる。愛してるからこの世界に生きる彼女を。だからオムニブス、僕たちの命と残された時間をどうか僕たちにかけてほしい。
I really want to see someone fight though.
僕に可能性があるというのなら僕はそれに絶対に手を届かせてみせる。
Victor says this last with the utmost dignity, his eyes never wavering from the old woman's. For a while they merely look at one another until Omnibus blinks. She turns her gaze to me.
アイザックの呪われた娘。それならあなたにも聞きましょう。あなたの存在はそこにあるだけで災いの種となる。彼がイデアに入らないという決断を下した今、私があなたの行く先に見る未来はいくつもの苦しみに満ちた道ばかり。それでも人としての幸せを望む。
No one on earth can yet say what this decision will bring, but like Lionheart said, if I don't smile now, how will I ever be able to smile in the future? And so with my very best smile, I tell her, I do. I will live the span of a human life, and I will be happy with Victor. To share in the warmth and kindness, to love and be loved in return. I had given up on such things, but my friends, Victor most of all, proved to me that it wasn't impossible. That is why I choose to believe in him until our very last moment. That is why I choose to believe in myself, me who Victor saved. I want to wager on my own potential. Doll, monster, curse. If I who have been called each of these things can live amongst humans, then this is my will, even if it takes time for my body to become human. I believe my soul already is human because I am in love with one. And that is why I know I can change the future you see.
いやー、うちのお姫様ってばかっこいい。ほんとますます惚れちゃうっての。
アホ、真剣な場で茶化すんじゃねえ。かっこいいのは同意だけどよ。
I hear Lupin and Impy's banter, it only spurs me on.
できなかったらどうするつもり？
If I can't, I'm prepared for what that means. Fate doesn't scare me anymore.
博士、あなたも？
覚悟はある。だけど僕はそれ以上に信じてるんだ。
信じるとは？
どれだけ無理だと思う道も挑んでもがき続けるうちにきっと切り開かれる未来もあるんだって。
Omnibus regarded both of us in silence, then taking in our demeanors. I felt as if our fate was being reassessed. Perhaps it was.
この先数十年切り捨てて諦めるには長すぎる時間だ。だから僕は精一杯の抵抗をする。抵抗した先でホロロギウムを抑え、それをしのぐ賢者の石をも抑える方法を僕が見つけることだってあるかもしれない。その知識と技術は世界の歴史に有益なものにしてみせる。絶対にそれを悪用なんてさせない。絶対にね。
The night wind rushed between us. Here, one moment gone the next.
博士、あなたにとってその子はどんな存在だというの？
Everyone showed up to put up a fight, but no one's fighting. They did it just to intimidate them. I wanted it to come to blows. I wanted Saint Germain to beat up Guinevere.
何度も言ってるじゃないか。彼女は誰よりも大切な女の子。心優しくて脆くて、なのに勇敢で綺麗な人の心を持った僕の恋人だ。
Such a gentle voice. Victor's sweet words were permeated with the deepest love anyone could tell.
そう。
Her barely audible response sounded less like speech, more like wind cutting through the eerie sphere of silence. No! It finally felt like there was a hint of emotion in Omnibus's voice. There was no kindness nor warmth in it. I cannot even say what emotion it might have been, but it was there. She's just leaving. She could be closer.
帰りましょう。
Okay, she's leaving.
よろしいのですか？
保留にするだけよ。今は時期尚早のようだからね。
Then,
博士。ホロロギウム抑制剤の功績、それに私たちを相手に言い張ってみせた未来の可能性にかけてこの場は退きましょう。その代わり必ず果たしなさい。私の眼前で誓ったのだからそれなりの覚悟はあるのでしょ。
当然だよ。僕はもう過去から目をそらしたりしない。もちろんこの先の未来からもね。
その言葉、若さからの言葉でないことを真剣に願っているわ。あなたはいい人に愛されたわね。アイザックの、いいえ、カルディアちゃん。
you finally called her by her name.
でも決して忘れないでちょうだい。あなたの胸にその宝石が輝く限り、イデアはあなたを監視している。あなたたちの運命はもうあなたたち次第なのだから。
The wheels of her chair squeak softly as they begin to turn, and thank you. Thank you for believing in us. Without knowing if she had even heard my thanks. The figures of the old woman and her apostles dissipate like morning mist beyond the thinning veil of night. Sound is restored to the world, and all of us breathe long and deep sighs of relief. I know it's kind of anticlimactic because all these heroes and Ippy's words come to the rescue with this grand entrance and this grand speech, and they didn't fight anyone. Dang it. Whatever. Are we saved?
ああ、そうだね。ひとまず期限と条件付きだけど。でも、これからも君と一緒にいられる。一緒なんだよ、カルディア。
I realize this is the truth just as the full weight of my fatigue from the night before hits me, and I teeter on my feet. Before I can fall, Victor catches me, wrapping me firmly in his arms. It may be a little late to say this, but I think I actually was rather frightened.
それは僕だって同じだよ。だけど、君が信じてくれたから。君が隣にいてくれたから、僕はイデアに負けることなく、すべてを伝えることができたんだ。
You should probably thank Saint Germain for bringing in the intimidation.
ありがとう、カルディア。僕たちの未来のために、僕のそばにいてくれて。
These gentle words, he softly caresses my hair. The gesture made me happy and ticklish too. In fact, I was stunned at how happy such a small thing made me. I'm sure the smile on my face was so broad that I would have been astounded had I a mirror to look in.
それに、みんなも。
Just as Victor turned around to address our friends.
カルディア、フラン、
They all seemed to pounce on us at once, but of course it wouldn't have done to be nice and civil at a time like this. We were surrounded by a whirlwind of hands, everyone slapping us on the back and throwing their arms over our shoulders.
よかったよ
It's so loud.
たく心配かけさせやがって。
勇気だけで敵に切り込むその姿勢私は嫌いではないな。
いた誰か本気で叩いてない？
心配をかけさせた罰ということでしょうね。
I'm sorry, but Saint Germain would be like the last person I would think that would hit someone. I would think anyone else would hit someone, but not Saint Germain. He's too posh for that, but nope, apparently he's not beyond hitting someone. Their hands are warm, their smiles kindly and bright. So full of life, surrounded by such a genuine concern, I can tell I'm beaming. It was thanks to all of you that things worked out the way they did. If you hadn't come to us, I think results would have been very different.
ああ、本当にそう思うよ。今この瞬間は僕たち全員で掴んだ未来なんだ。
Giggling, I tell Victor, none of it would have been possible without you, Victor. It was all thanks to you that was able to believe that I am human.
だって本当のことだからね。君は呪われてなんかいない。人形でも怪物でもないんだ。君は心優しい普通の女の子。他の人とちょっと違って綺麗な宝石が胸にある。ただそれだけの話なんだよ。
That's all. He traces the outline of the horologium, this awful thing that brought death to so many, without hesitation, and smiles.
これから人としての幸せを全部君に教えてあげる。そして二人で一緒に生きていこう。きっと時間はかかるけど、それでも必ず叶えるから。どうか僕を信じて。
It's not like you have to ask. I'll always believe in you.
ありがとう。僕の大好きなカルディア。
As if it were preordained. He gives me no time to prepare, no time to steady myself. It simply brings his lips to mine. But everyone is here, I want to say. Victor's kiss prevents any such words of protest, not because I cannot speak, but because my heart begins to melt. I have never been so happy. There would be no more holding back, no more reservations. This kiss said it all.
おいおい、見せつけてくれるじゃねえか。
なんだヘルシング、なぜ目を隠した？何も見えんではないか。
I was gonna say, I think I remember Deli's eyes being covered during this, which is really cute.
お前にはまだ早い。
おお、めっちゃ羨ましい。
インピ、男らしく身を引くのも一つの魅力だと思いますよ。
Their voices may be embarrassing, but I am far beyond being concerned about them. For the first time, I feel unselfish about desiring Victor's love for myself. Glancing up at the sky, I still see a few stars winking against the canopy of the heavens. But the distant horizon was a faint white line, and as it grew brighter, the light of the day washes away any sense that the dark of night came before it. So adorable. really like Victor's after story. I wish the others had the same amount of conflict as his did. It gave us something a little bit more than just it gave us a little bit more than just emotional conflict. The emotional conflict of being a new couple and all that. It had real conflict. I think out of everyone's, I enjoyed Victor's the most. So Saint Germain had a lot of conflict too, but his was more of a detective story, trying to track down information to solve her problem. And this one, there was consequences to turning them down. And then I think I just enjoy Lupus just for the pure sweetness of them as a couple. Alright. That should be it. Cleaning's done. I survey the now immaculate drawing room and release a sigh of satisfaction. It's been 1 week since our confrontation with Idea. Time has flown by so pleasantly in the ensuing days, it almost seems like the incident had happened to someone else. Lupin and Impy must be in France by now. Van Helsing is probably with Deli at the Vampire Homestead. They were all here in the mansion. Surely it would have been alright for them to relax just a bit longer. Perhaps it was because each of them had dropped their own pursuits to come rushing to our aid. But no sooner had the long-awaited reunion taken place that our friends set out on their own paths once more. We'll plan ahead for our proper visit next time, they said, laughing. The mansion seemed quieter than ever before. Something about it feels so lonely, but looking at Cece snoring away on the corner, the feeling begins to subside. It looks so comfortable. And so the regular pattern of doing housework, waiting with Cece for Victor to come home, has not quite returned yet. Well then, I pick up the bag I prepared beforehand and speak softly so as not to wake Cece. I suppose I'll be off, Cece. In the meantime, at Buckingham Palace.
なるほど。それがイデアなのね。
Victor had been asked to give his report to the Queen and was doing so in detail.
まさか国家に続いて世界規模の組織に狙われるなんて。波乱万丈の人生ね、シュタイン博士。
否定できないかも。
何にせよ、二人とも無事で安心したわ。あなたたちを失うようなことがあれば、英国全体の損失だもの。
うん。とはいえ、あくまで保留だけどね。あとは僕が残りの人生をかけて、彼女を人間にする。振り出しに戻ったとも言えるし、今まで通り頑張るだけだよ。
振り出しではないでしょ。何よりあなたたちの関係はね。ともあれ、応援は惜しまないわ。あなたなら研究過程の副産物からもこの英国に貢献してくれるでしょうし。期待しているわ。あの子の幸せのためにもね。
ああ、努力するよ。あ、それとこれからは後進の育成にも力を入れるつもりなんだ。これからの研究はどうしても僕だけじゃ手数が足らなくなってくるだろうから、僕と同じレベルとまではいかなくても研究をサポートできるような助手が欲しいんだ。
後進、それに助手ね。ならちょうどいいわ。後進育成という目標、その第一歩としてあなたの研究室を増築し、あなたの下に新しい助手をつけましょう。
ずいぶん根回しがいいね。外部から人を招くってことだよね。だったら即戦力がありがたいけど。
実力は8 天途上といったところかしら。でも頭の回転は速いし度胸もあるわ。
Is it Cardia?
へえ、君がそこまで言うならかなり期待しちゃうな。
I wouldn't think so, but you never know.
存分に期待
Bring
なさ
her
い。
in.
レオンハルト、彼女を連れてきてちょうだい。
はっ、失礼いたします。
ご苦労様、レオンハルト。さあ、シュタイン博士、彼女があなたの新しい助手よ。
It's a pleasure to meet you, Professor. My name is Cardia. I'll be your new assistant.
はえ
Surprised?
そりゃ驚くよ。どういうことなの？君が僕の助手って。
You're right. I'm just not good enough, am I? My knowledge of alchemy is lacking.
そういうことじゃなくて、むしろ嬉しいんだけど、してやられたっていうか。
Victor looks at Victoria in bewilderment. Her carefully studied grin all but asks, Who, me?
あら、主犯は私じゃないわよ。言い出したのはあくまでも彼女なんだから。
いつの間にそんなこと。
I wanted to be of use, and as close to you as possible. The horologium is at the center of your research, so it stands to reason that I should be nearby. But most importantly, we decided to seek out our future together, so I want to hold up my end of the deal as best I can.
ということで、シュタイン博士、何か文句はあるかしら？
文句というか、言いたいことはもちろんあるけどさ。でもやっぱり最初に言うべきはありがとうかな。
I know he wants someone with experience. He's like, well, I guess I'll have to teach her.
礼には及ばないわ。あなたたちもイギリスの国民には変わりない。英国女王たる私はすべての民を幸福に導くことが仕事ですもの。今までの恩返しだと思ってちょうだいな。
Thank you, Victoria. But, if that's how it works, you have to find happiness as well.
私も
Queens are royalty, but even members of royalty are British citizens. Do I have that right?
陛下、これは一本取られましたな。
そうね。この子たちと話すと本当にいろいろ気づかされるわ。じゃあ私も少し落ち着いたら自分の幸せを探すとしましょうかね、レオン。
はっ、不祥子のレオンハルト、全力で陛下を補佐する所存です。
Maybe this was it. The fact that she called him Leon instead of Lionheart. I think she was suggesting something to you.
もういいわ。
Yep, I'm right. It just goes over his head because he has nothing but a queen's servant right now.
頭を抱えてどうされました？まさかご病気ですか？
Oh my goodness. I think they would make a cute couple. Taking the commotion as our cue, we leave the palace, making our way outside.
本当に驚いたよ。まさか君が僕の助手になって一緒に働くことになるなんて。
Neither did I. I know my knowledge is lacking, but I'm going to study quite seriously. Not just about the horologium either. If there's anything I can do to help, anything at all, I want to be able to.
そっか。それじゃあ何から教えようかな。君は覚えがいいから教えがいがあるよ。ひいき目なしで きっといい助手になれると思う。
I'll do my very best. I want to be of use sooner rather than later. Having left the audience chamber far behind us, Victor mentioned there was somewhere he wanted to go. We're apparently on our way, but try as I might, I could not get Victor to tell me where we were headed. This place you want to go to, Victor, is it much farther?
うん、それほど離れてないし、あと10分も歩けば着くと思うよ。
I nodded in reply, still a bit confused, and find myself thinking about who I had to leave behind at the mansion. Oh, I left Cece. Do you think he's lonely, cooped up all by himself?
きっと大丈夫だよ。シシーは賢いし、ちゃんとお留守番してくれるよ。
He's probably just taking a nap. Victor replied with a grin. He's right, I think, and squeezed his hand. A small thing, but one that brings so much joy. The afternoon is pleasantly sunny. A cool breeze dances across my skin. Such a lovely day, I think, as the lilt of birdsong draws my gaze up into the sky. Truly perfect weather. Calamity, she had said. Disaster. Looking up at that azure expanse, neither word seems to hold much meaning. I want to enjoy many, many more sunny days like this, laughing together. And I can do but one thing to further that wish. I must live on with all my heart.
でも決して忘れないでちょうだい。あなたの胸にその宝石が輝く限り、イデアはあなたを監視している。あなたたちの運命はもうあなたたち次第なのだから。
Oh, I'm like, is that how it ends? That's such a chilling way to end. I'm like, that gave me shivers. At last, Victor and I reach our destination. Oh yeah, I forgot about this part of his route. Is this a church?
そう。今日どうしてもここで君に言っておきたいことがあるんだ。
Something he wants to tell me. It sounds so serious. Victor's smile takes on a milder cast. Perhaps it was my quizzical look.
ここは愛を誓う場所だから。だから今日僕はここで君に愛を誓いたいんだ。
A place for taking vows.
そう。共に生きていく二人だけの誓い。君と僕とが幸せになるための誓い。
With these words, Victor gently reaches for my hand. He takes it in his own, and I know it will never poison anything again, nor bring about anyone's death. His hand once belonged to a monster, but now the man I love holds it tenderly.
僕も君もとても重い過去を背負って今日この日まで懸命に生きてきた。きっとこれから先ふと思い出したように辛くなる時や悲しくなる時もあるんだと思う。それは僕たちがその過去のことを決して忘れるんじゃなくて、それを受け止めた上で前に進んでいくからなんだ。
I know. I won't forget. I won't forget anything that happens to us. I know that I owe my current self, standing here next to you, to the times that we lived through. I briefly reflect on the significance of what Victor had just said and nod. And that's why, no matter how harsh the past may have been, I will never forget it. Returns my nod, smiling, and softly caresses my cheek.
でもね、カルディア、忘れちゃいけないのと同じくらいに、僕たちはその出来事にとらわれちゃいけないんだ。
I agree, we mustn't.
そうだよ。だからもしいつか君が悲しい思いをしたとき、 辛くなった時、怖くなった時、僕が何度でも言ってあげる。
Victor removes his own gloves and touches me with an immense tenderness. This gesture repeated over and over. No matter how many times he does this, bringing my palm to rest on his cheek, I feel enveloped in grace and kindness.
君が不安に揺れるたびに、何度でもこうして確かめてあげる。大丈夫だよ、カルディア。今もこれからもずっと。君は普通の女の子なんだ。幸せになっていいんだ。
Felt a brisk wind against my face then. Can barely notice a single tear being carried away, spiraling up into the sky before it has a chance to fall. I concentrate on the warmth of his hand. Lightly I turn my face from side to side, feeling Victor's finger play against my cheek, the warmth merging with his. I want to be happy. I want to be happy with you. Not as a monster, but as a normal girl. I want to live out the same span of time as you and treasure every moment of it.
だから僕も誓うよ。絶対に君と。
Curiously, Victor's words break off.
違う。間違えた。こうじゃないや。
You waiting for timing, Victor?
今ならもっとふさわしい言葉があるなって。だってここはほら教会なんだから。
Oh, okay. I look askance in curiosity as Victor clears his throat and turns to face me.
僕ビクター・フランケンシュタインはカルディア・ベックフォードを妻とし、良き時も悪き時も病める時も健やかなる時も共に歩み、死が二人を分かつまで絶対に君と二人、いつまでもいつまでも幸せに生きていくことを誓います。
He's so adorable. It was the traditional wedding oath reserved for couples vowing eternal love. Words that I only read about in books before, meant for those who would spend the remainder of their lives together.
お返事はカルディア・ベックフォード。
I too. My voice trembles with emotion. My cheeks flush the color of joy, I suppose. I too shall dwell in happiness together for eternity. With you whom I love, this do I vow.
よく言えました。
Wait, he says that's adorable, congratulating her. Oh my goodness, which seeds do I use now? They're both so beautiful. There again, ever present, his warmth. A warmth that belongs to us alone, we who have sworn our love for one another. We share in it, revel in it, as our lips come together, heat intermingling. Victor holds me tight. The strength of his grip tells me we'll never be torn apart. He tells me this union cannot be broken. Two lives lived as one. Yes, this is the man that I will spend my life with. We will dwell in happiness for nobody's sake but our own. From this moment forth, and for all the time to come, we will live together.
カルディア、誓うよ。僕の全部で君を愛し続けること。
A murmuring sound reaches my ears. It may have been the breeze whispering through sunlit branches. It may have been something more. The sound had a voice, and it spoke of a clear path ahead. It spoke of future blessings. I heard it quite clearly. They're so adorable. Okay, let's turn this down so I can talk. So a little bit longer than most of the videos that have been from this fan disc, but it is what it is. I knew it was going to be longer because the last two was like 40 minutes and 50 minutes. I was not expecting an hour and 50 minutes, but it's whatever. I'll still be able to get it edited and put out tonight. The night I'm recording this is the night it's supposed to come out, even though I've already posted a Cupid Parasite, which I mentioned that I was going to do anyway. I didn't make a formal post about it or anything on my community tab. I probably should. So now that we have all the after stories done, we are going to be going into Sholmes's route, and is chapter based, so it's going to be 1 episode per chapter, and it's going to equal about 6. Let me just see if I can confirm this. Okay, yeah. So 5 chapters with endings, so it's going to be 6 episodes. I guess I'll just mention it here since I'm thinking about it, but after Code Realize is done, I might do Wintertide Miracles. I might, if I need something else to occupy my time with. If Cupid Parasite starts getting too far ahead, then I might do that. But the way things are going with Cupid Parasite and then the fan disc, I was going to start recording fan disc and then releasing it as I finish the main routes of Cupid Parasite, but I might just save it to come after Cupid Parasite, which Cupid Parasite could probably take another month to finish. If I'm doing 7 episodes and it's like once a day, and there's 4 more routes, that's another month. So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to line up these current Otome games to end around October 15th. October 15th is when a new Otome game is coming out to Switch. It's already been out unlocalized, but they're localizing it. And I want to play a new game because I want to see if I can get a few more people interested in it. Interested in the stuff that I am putting out on my channel to try to draw some more people in, of course. But since that comes out October 15th, that is my plan, is to start that one next after the Cupid Parasite. And it's called, I don't know if it's RIP 9 or RIP 9, but that's what I'm planning on playing next. And I think it's supposed to be like horror romance. So we'll see how that goes. We went from, we went from, I don't know what you would call my next life as a villainess, besides anime. I guess it's fantasy since they have magic. So fantasy romance, this one's like what, historical romance, kind of, with a little bit of fantasy. And then Cupid Parasite is what, comical romance, rom-coms, and then now we're going into horror. Actually, I've never done a horror one yet, so it's going to be interesting. I'm looking forward to it. Anyways, that is it for this episode, and so yeah, like if you enjoyed, subscribe if you want to see more, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.